Everybody, how are we all doing today on June 11th? Welcome to Glenn's Dynamic Sports Corner on 12OZSportsRadio.com, and I am your host, Glenn Kaplan. We are live in Baltimore, Maryland, which is home to the Baltimore Orioles and the Baltimore Ravens, and it's a completely dreadful day outside today. The complete opposite of Monday. Droopy, whatever else you want to describe a day like today. Rainy, yuck. Let's hope this show isn't yuck today. Let's hope it's a good one. On the other note, this is the 77th show today. And let me start off with some breaking news from Adrian Wojnarowski of ESPN sources. NBA players decided against participating. Orlando could be replaced by a substitution player. NBA plans to allow replacements for players who test positive for COVID-19 or suffer injuries. Replaced players become ineligible for the rest of the 2019-2020 season. And there's also speculation that there are some players. Now, Adrian Wojnarowski was talking yesterday that it's not coming from the top tier teams like the Lakers and the Clippers. The teams that are basically competing for titles. It's the other teams that I don't think could win a championship that have to come back. It's probably some of those players that probably don't want to come back. And they're not going to be punished for it. They're just going to lose salary. And it's basically their own choice. So July 31st is when these games come back. In Orlando, Walt Disney Resort Studios, and it's going to be really fun. And the games are going to be played at that sports complex in Walt Disney Resorts, by the way, which I've seen before, and friends post on social media that they've actually played there before. I guess they have high school tournaments down there, and other stuff. So that will be interesting to see. And our teams are actually bringing their own home courts with them. Where are they going to store it? That's something I think my brother and my dad were talking about when it comes to... Yeah, it's something my dad and my brother were talking about when it comes to bringing your own stuff. And we'll see how this, I guess, plays out. Next up. Yes. Hockey Phase 2 is back. So that means, let's see, the Pittsburgh Penguins, and I was watching something on Twitter yesterday. Sidney Crosby. Oh, did he look good? Did he look very good? Beating Casey DeSmith. Yes, I know it's just practicing right now, but let's see who was there at the UPMC 66, also known as the sports complex for the practice facility in Cranberry Township, Pennsylvania. That's like a 20-minute drive. I've been there once with my parents before. It's a very nice practice facility. Boy, oh boy, I wish I could go back there sometime soon. So the guys that were there at the UPMC 66 complex: Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin, Jake Gunsel, Jared McCann, Brian Rust, John Moreno, Jack Johnson, and the goalie that appears was Casey DeSmith because I didn't see Matt Murray or Tristan Jarry. Alright, let's see. First of all, having Gunsel back is like, oh baby, Jake Gunsel's back. Hasn't played since December because he hurt his shoulder against the Ottawa Senators, and we didn't think he'd even be back this year, but because of the coronavirus, their season paused. Here we are. A healthy Jake Gunsel, and he's their third best player after Crosby and Malkin. Let's just say it how it is. Crosby and Malkin is 1 and 2. Gunsel's number 3, and let me tell you something. The discrepancy between the third best forward and the fourth best forward on that team is not even close. And then the other two forwards that were there, who I think is probably 4 and 5 on the team, Jared McCann and Brian Rust. You want to tell me Jared McCann or Rust are as close to the talent level as Gunsel is? You want to tell me that this morning? Yes, Jared McCann, I think, is a very nice player and's got potential pop. But you're going to tell me, and yes, I know Russ led the team in goals. But I'm just going to sit here this morning and say had Guentzel been healthy, he wouldn't have led the team in goals? And that he's not a better player than Brian Rust or Jared McCann? You're going to tell me that this morning. Because Jake Guentzel is the third best player on that team. And it's not even close after getting Malkin and Sidney Crosby. And then you got a guy like Patrick Hornqvist, who is the glue inside the paint, who loves to make life difficult for other goalies. Yes, I know didn't seem he was there yesterday, but I know a lot of Penguins players have reported already, and Mike Sullivan, the head coach, trusts them. And let me tell you something, this team is on a mission to win another championship. Whether they win or not, I don't think they're going to. Are they going to be locked in? You better for sure believe they're going to be locked in. Because Crosby wants another ring on his repertoire. So does Evgeny Malkin. And Malkin, I saw post on his Instagram, he was basically chopping a tree the other day. And as I post on my Facebook and Twitter, I am score in all capitals. Because it's like Gino, it's like, I am score, make me a milkshake, Mike Lang. Evgeny Malkin is just basically your heartbeat and heart and soul, your Penguins, along with Crosby and Guentzel and all your other players. The Pittsburgh Penguins are a team not to be messed with moving forward. Because I'm going to say this right now. If the Penguins win it all this year, that's going to say a lot of things about that coaching staff and the players. Because I want to see more of those workout videos. And I can't wait for hockey to come back. And I'm going to stick with hockey. Moving on from the Pittsburgh Penguins, and I was going to talk about this the other day on my show, but I ran out of time. The New York Rangers goaltending situation. This is a very, very interesting debate. So, there are these three guys, and this happened to be last week. And I happen to like the NHL Network crew. So it was Tony Luffman, Mike Johnson, and Brian Lawton. They were discussing who should start in net for the New York Rangers. And then you also have other guys like E.J. Hradek, Jamie Hirsch, and Jackie Redmond who actually do. Jamie Hirsch and Jackie Redmond, they do an excellent job for what they do. And I never complain about the NHL Network usually because I think they always do a fantastic job. So it comes down to these three goalies for the New York Rangers. Igor Shesterkin, Henrik Lundqvist, and last but not least, Alexander Georgiev. The question is, who's your starting goalie against the Carolina Hurricanes? And then I'll get into the stats after I'm done listening in this order. Igor Shesterkin should be number 1. Alexander Georgiev should be number 2. And number 3 should be Henrik Lundqvist. And this is why Shesterkin should be number 1. 12 games. A 10-2 record, 2.52 GA. His save percentage was off the roof at .932. And he also had no shutouts. But the other thing is, he had a .939 save percentage in his last game, despite having no shutouts. And Shesterkin, moving forward with this goaltending group, will be the heartbeat, heart, and soul of the New York Rangers goalie group. And he's only 24 years old. Here's the thing about Shesterkin. This guy is calm. He represents in a way that's going to be, seems like it's going to be better than Henrik Lundqvist. That's what I get the impression of. I get the impression that he's winning over the New York Rangers fan base already. He is already winning that fan base over. And here's Georgiev's stats. He's played in 34 games. He started in 32 of them. He has a 17-14-2 record. His GA is 3.04. He has a .893 save percentage. Yeah. 893 save percentage and 2 shutouts. And despite the low save percentage, I watched a couple of those New York Ranger games when Georgiev started. He gets peppered He is the one goalie that actually gets peppered with a bunch of shots. And he actually has to make like 40 saves in a game. Lastly, Henrik Lundqvist, 30 games, 26 starts, a 10-12-3 record, a 3.16 GA, a 905 save percentage, a 150, and one shutout. Oh, back to Georgiev stats quickly. He actually has a 910 save percentage. My bad. It was the 893 save percentage what he actually had in his last game before the pandemic hit. And for Lundqvist, his save percentage is 905 with one shutout. And he faced 5 shots and stopped all 5 of them in his last appearance before the pandemic. Okay. I knew Georgiev's save percentage was 993, as I written down on here. Okay, so I got that part right. So, it should be Shesterkin, Georgiev, and Lundqvist. And that's it. And speaking of New York teams, and owned by the Rangers, and he also owns the New York Knicks, I'm going to transition right perfectly into this. And I'm about to bark at the bite here. Let's get it. James Dolan! It's time for you to sell the New York Knicks, and you are a complete embarrassment to the city of New York and all the Knicks and Rangers fans out there in the entire New York and sports world. Alright, I'm just going to say this. The New York Knicks and the New York Rangers released a statement after all the other teams did about the George Floyd protests, his death, and all the other stuff. And I'm not going to get into politics. I'm not going to get into politics. But here's what I'm going to say. The fact that you were the last team that basically made a statement shows you how lowly class you are. In New York, which is the media capital of the world, James Dolan has no right. And Knicks fans and other people have been calling him to sell the team for a long time. It's time for Dolan to sell the Knicks. You just disgraced yourself big time with this move. Horrible public relations stunt. Horrible in the whole 9 yards. You just have no idea what you're doing, and you have no idea how to run any sports team. You simply do not. And the fact that you're making your employees look bad is an absolutely disgrace. 100%. And there are no questions asked. The fact that you just leave a blanket statement and you feel no sorrow and apology describes the kind of person you are. You don't care about people. You don't care about yourself. You don't care about your employees. And you don't care about what's going on in the world. 100% heartless. Is there anything else for me to describe this man? That James Dolan should not own the New York Knicks anymore. Could this be an out route for Adam Silver in the NBA commissioner to kick him out just like he did with Donald Sterling and the Los Angeles Clippers? Because that's what it seems like. Excuse me. So, for the time being, that's what I think should happen. It's time for Dolan to sell his team. And I'm just going to leave it at that. Because I know how disgusted Knicks fans are. And I know they want change. And maybe they finally get it. Maybe they don't. Nonetheless, let's see what happens. Next up, the Greek Freak. Giannis Antetokounmpo, baby. Giannis Antetokounmpo. So, there are supposed rumors of Giannis Antetokounmpo. Will he leave the Milwaukee Bucks in free agency after 2021? And maybe both for the Toronto Raptors. That's an interesting story. Why is Toronto interesting? Because Milwaukee lost to Toronto last year in the Eastern Conference Finals. And supposedly, Masai Ujiri, he's actually somehow I've heard buddy-buddy with. And the reason why the Bucks had the best record in the NBA is because of Giannis. It's not necessarily because of, like, their number 2 player like Chris Middleton. And here's what I find interesting. Take a look at the head coach and the number 2 player. So here's what I did. I took Milwaukee's second best player and their coach Mike Budenholzer against the Raptors' second best player Nick Nurse. So, first of all, the second best player on the Bucks is Chris Middleton, and the second best player on the Raptors is Pascal Siakam. Okay. Which player would I rather have? That's an easy answer. Pascal Siakam. That's an easy answer. He's an all-star. Siakam has been proven. And the thing about this, and this is very underrated what happened last year. I was telling somebody. The 4 games that the Toronto Raptors won in the finals, Pascal Siakam had a minimum of 20 points. Despite Kawhi Leonard winning the finals MVP. In the 2 games that the Raptors lost, Pascal Siakam scored under 20. So what does that tell you? That Pascal Siakam is an all-star caliber player, and the Raptors simply needed him. That's what it means. That Pascal Siakam is a beast. He is really, really good. And I think Nick Nurse is an excellent coach, and we undervalue him because look at where Toronto is. Toronto only has the second best record and the third best record in the NBA this year, better than the Clippers, who actually do have Kawhi Leonard. That says a lot about the character about Nick Nurse. And don't tell me for 1 second that Nick Nurse isn't a good coach. Nick Nurse has already proven he's a better head coach than Dwayne Casey will ever be. That's just my opinion. Because Nick Nurse, I'm impressed with him. And then the second best player for the Bucks, Chris Middleton, and Mike Budenholzer is a very good coach. Look, he's led the Atlanta Hawks to the playoffs several times, and even in the tanking year they were supposed to take, they almost upset the Pacers in the first round. So Mike Budenholzer knows what he's doing. But I would rather have Pascal Siakam than Chris Middleton as my second star. That's what I would just rather have. And then Giannis, in 57 games so far this year, 29.6 points per game, 13.7 rebounds per game, 5.8 assists per game, 1 block per game, and 1 steal per game. Next up, before I get into this big whole to-do thing, Luka Doncic! In honor of the 77th show today, baby. In honor of the 77th show, because he wears number 77. Let me talk about him for a little while here for the next few minutes. So he's an obvious all-star and a potential Hall of Famer for the Dallas Mavericks. Well, he's got a long way to go. But here's what I found interesting about Luka Doncic. He's been out of shape. And that's not good if you are the heartbeat and the heart and soul of the Dallas Mavericks and you are the leader of that team. You're simply the leader of that team. When you lead the team, you cannot be out of shape. And that's what happened with Nikola Jokic. Okay? Luka Doncic is the image of the Dallas Mavericks now. Now that Dirk is retired. Dirk Nowitzki was from Germany, and Doncic is from Slovenia. And Luka Doncic, to me, is the MVP of the league. If he was not on the Dallas Mavericks, please tell me right now, are they in the 7th seed and in the playoffs? For the first time since 2014-2015. Get the heck out of here. No, 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 no. He's not. I mean, excuse me. They would not be in the playoffs. It's as simple as that. They'd be back in the lottery. They have a bunch of B's and C players. You're going to tell me Kristaps Porzingis is an A player? You're going to... And maybe my brother Jake has told me that he thinks Kristaps is an A player, but I'm still not buying the fact that he is. And then you have, Dwight Powell, Jalen Brunson, Dorian Finney-Smith, and then you got Tim Hardaway Jr. You're going to tell me, I'm going to sit here right now and tell me that how is this roster the number 1 ranked offense? How on the planet Earth is this the ranked number 1 offense? Oh, Doncic! That's right! Because he makes his players better around him. In 54 games this year, 28.7 points per game, 9.3 rebounds per game, 8.7 assists per game, 0.2 blocks per game, and 1.1 steals per game. I think he should be the MVP, but let's face reality. It's going to go to Kawhi Leonard of the Los Angeles Clippers, LeBron James of the Los Angeles Lakers, or Giannis Antetokounmpo of the Milwaukee Bucks. That's it. We will see what happens. I guess what's going to happen with Doncic moving forward nonetheless. Oh, boy. Luka Doncic is such a good player. And I know a couple of Mavericks fans. I know how happy Mark Cuban was when they got him on draft night. He's already, some people think he's already a top 5, top 10 player. 21, 22 years old? And the fact that he hasn't stayed in shape, oh, that's not good. That's not good that he hasn't stayed in shape. But he'll get back into game shape. They'll be fine when training camp begins. And other stuff happens. So, I'm curious to see how he's going to perform when all of the teams start getting to reunite. And I'm ready. Speaking of which, I'm about to jump into a very, very interesting subject now, despite being done with the Luka Doncic talk. So here we go, and this is my last topic for today, but ladies and gentlemen, this is going to take the rest of the show now. I think I set this up very nicely with my first 6 topics for the first 23 minutes of the show. So now, let's get into it. So the top 112 picks, if the NFL went to a redraft for the entire league. It's like, hey, it's like fantasy. It's like on Madden. You're playing on Dynasty mode. You don't like the roster you have. You want to start a rerun, right? So here we go. Let's start. And let's drum roll. Let's drum roll for the number 1 pick. And this is interesting because it's the draft order, this year's draft. But then for the second round, it's like in fantasy football draft, it's a reverse order. So here we go. The number 1 pick. The Cincinnati Bengals take Patrick Mahomes. Quarterback. Shocker. That's a shocker. Number 2. The Washington Redskins select Russell Wilson, a quarterback. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'll grab my pen in a couple minutes here. But as I go on with this show, I should keep track of how many position by position, because I didn't, count that. So that would be nice if Washington finally, I guess you could say, found a quarterback. Number 3, the Detroit Lions. Aaron Donald, defensive tackle. Now, Matt Patricia loves defense. He loves going defense. And Aaron Donald's a top 5 player in this league. Number 4, you Eagles fans are about to puke your guts up. Number 4 to the New York Giants, Carson Wentz, quarterback. I personally think Wentz is a top player in this league. I don't know how many of you guys don't think Wentz is a top player in this league, but if you don't think Wentz is a top player in this league, you're absolutely nuts. Let's see. Yes, he has a Super Bowl, but he would have won an MVP. He led the Eagles in the playoffs without an 1,000-yard receiver. I mean, come on. I like Carson Wentz a lot, so that'd be interesting. But the injury prone, maybe teams would stay away, but his talent, you can't deny it. Number 5, Miami Dolphins, Lamar Jackson, quarterback. Brian Flores would love to have a guy like Lamar Jackson on his roster. He would use all sorts of things with him. Number 6, Los Angeles Chargers, Joey Bosa, defensive end. He sticks with the Chargers, and that's gonna happen a few times here in my mock drafts here, where some of the players stick with their original teams, and that's what I have at number 7 with the Carolina Panthers, Christian McCaffrey, running back. Number 8, Arizona Cardinals, Julio Jones, wide receiver. Listen, he's the best receiver in football. There's no question. And the thing about Arizona is, here's how I view it. Arizona had a great receiver all the time like Larry Fitzgerald. And now they traded for a guy like DeAndre Hopkins offseason, so they know a few things about wide receivers. So I don't think they go quarterback here if they did an entire redraft. I think they would go Julio Jones because he's the best receiver despite being a little bit older. Number 9 to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Look away, Houston Texans fans. Deshaun Watson, quarterback. Deshaun Watson, Jacksonville, they would love to have a quarterback. Something like that. But in real life, let's see what Gardner Minshew does this year. 2nd or 3rd. Number 10, Cleveland Browns, Michael Thomas, wide receiver. This is a team that loves skill players. They love their skill players. And Michael Thomas is a top-tier receiver in the NFL. Despite not being an explosive receiver, well, in real life, they have Odell Beckham Jr. and Jarvis Landry. So I like the Michael Thomas pick here. Number 11, New York Jets, DeAndre Hopkins, wide receiver. They don't go quarterback in the first round. So Hopkins, really good player here. Number 12, Las Vegas Raiders, Tom Brady, quarterback. And what's interesting is that the Vegas Raiders were actually talking about trying to sign Brady in the offseason, but for now, they're going to stick with Derek Carr. And that's going to be interesting to see how the relationship between Mike Mayock, John Gruden, and Derek Carr lasts for 30 years. Number 13, Indianapolis Colts, Jimmy Garoppolo, quarterback. And you all think I'm a little bit crazy here, but I don't think I'm really too crazy about Jimmy Garoppolo. Excuse me, let me rephrase that. You guys may not think that I'm all crazy. You guys may not be crazy about Jimmy Garoppolo, but listen, he was one overthrow away from winning a Super Bowl. It's not like, oh, he's this bad quarterback, gets a bad reputation because you think of them, when the San Francisco 49ers, the Kyle Shanahan, and the schematics that they run. And what's interesting here is in real life that this 13th pick was traded Indianapolis, San Francisco, but I don't think that Garoppolo would have been traded to Indianapolis in real life. That was for DeForest Buckner. Number 14, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They get to keep their man, Mike Evans, wide receiver. Love the pick here. Tampa Bay gets to keep their wide receiver, and no one talks about how good Mike Evans is. My brother Jake always mentions, oh, Mike Evans. Mike Evans, all he does is just puts up some plays. He's like to me yesterday. Johnny Manziel was a product of Mike Evans at Texas A&M. My dad, we were talking about this. We were like, Mike Evans, Who made who in Texas A&M? Well, it's obvious Evans made Manziel. Number 15, Denver Broncos. And you all think I'm probably on some sort of drugs or whatever else. Drew Lock, quarterback, and he's going to pop this year. And I don't think John Elway or anyone else in that front office would trade him away for anything. Number 16, the Atlanta Falcons, Matt Ryan, quarterback. They keep their man. Number 17, Dallas Cowboys, another team that keeps their man. Ezekiel Elliott, running back. And this is where I think it gets interesting here. Number 18, Pittsburgh Steelers, Saquon Barkley, running back. He played college football at Penn State. So playing in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, I don't think he would really mind. Yes, I know it would disgust me to see him in a Steelers uniform. Because I love seeing him in a Giants uniform. And maybe him and Daniel Jones leads them to the playoffs this year, but that's something to see later on. So Saquon Barkley would be a beloved man in the Steel City in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Number 19, the Chicago Bears. Look away, Green Bay Packers fans. Aaron Rodgers, quarterback. I can't believe I just did that. Here's the thing. Remember when Brett Favre went to the Vikings after he got released by the Packers? Well. This would be something here if Rodgers played for the Chicago Bears. Oh, boy. Oh, baby. That would be something. Number 20. The Los Angeles Rams keep their man, Jared Goff, quarterback. Number 21. The Philadelphia Eagles. Ooh, I should feel so disgusted that I'm saying this right now. Oh, this makes me sick to my stomach that I'm actually saying this. But Daniel Jones, quarterback. Listen, I think he's got the tools to be good. So in this draft, I basically have a Jones for Wentz trade. Yes, I think Wentz is the best quarterback in the NFC East, but I like Daniel Jones too. And I think Jones has the potential. All he's just got to do work on his fumbles. So I'm curious to see this year how Jason Garrett is going to work with him, the new offense coordinator, after coming from the Dallas Cowboys. But in a system with Doug Peterson, I think he'd be fine if this actually did a redraft. He'd be fine with Doug Peterson. Jones is coachable, and that's what Peterson is. He works with coachable guys. That's easy because Jones, he knows how to portray himself to the media. Next up, number 22 to the Buffalo Bills would be Von Miller, outside linebacker. And listen, Sean McDermott loves defense, so their defensive-minded team, Von Miller fits the bill. And he's the first ballot Hall of Famer. Number 23, New England Patriots. And the New York Jets fans are probably going to crush me right now. Sam Darnold, quarterback. Yeah, Belichick would love having a guy like Sam Darnold. And I'm curious to see how he's going to deal this year with Jared Stidham in real life. But Sam Darnold, he would take Sam Darnold. Number 24, the New Orleans... Oh my gosh. Did I really do that twice? So let's go with number 24. Can't believe I wrote that twice. So let's go number 24 to the New Orleans Saints. Let's go Arik Armstead, defensive lineman from the 49ers. Number 25 to the Minnesota Vikings, Khalil Mack, outside linebacker. Minnesota, Mike Zimmer's a defensive-minded coach. Number 26 to the Houston Texans, Drew Brees, quarterback. Bill O'Brien, that's a good fit. Number 27 in the Seattle Seahawks. I wrote DeAndre Hopkins twice. Oh, geez. Number 27 to Seattle. How did I manage to write these things twice? Which manages to tell me, next time double check on your script stuff. Or be more neat on your stuff. Lesson for me to learn. So Seattle Seahawks. At number 27, let me just give them Chris Carson, running back. One of their own guys, who actually happened to rush for over 1,000 yards last year. And he actually got hurt. But he's actually a really good running back. Number 28, the Baltimore Ravens, Matthew Stafford, quarterback. Number 29, Tennessee Titans, Derrick Henry, running back. Number 30, Green Bay Packers, Ryan Tannehill, quarterback. Number 31, San Francisco 49ers, George Kittle, tight end. And number 32, to the Kansas City Chiefs, Nick Chubb, running back. And that concludes the first round. And the second round starts out with number 33, Kansas City Chiefs, Odell Beckham Jr., wide receiver. So those are some nice, those are two nice skill players to have if you're Kansas City. Chubb and Beckham, they're both on the Cleveland Browns. And that happens to be a very nice fit. Number 34, San Francisco 49ers to go along with George Kittle, Dalvin Cook, running back. And I know he's going to want a contract extension with the Vikings in real life. But Dalvin Cook is a top-tier running back, and without him, the Vikings wouldn't have made the playoffs last year. And plus, you know how Kyle Shanahan loves to run the football, and Dalvin Cook would be the man. Number 35, Green Bay Packers, Stephon Gilmore, cornerback, best defensive back in the NFL. Number 36, Tennessee Titans, best offensive lineman potentially in the NFL, Quentin Nelson, offensive guard. And I know the Indianapolis Colts fans probably just didn't like what I said, but as I said, this is like a whole fantasy thing if you actually had to redo the entire league. So Nelson and Henry, that's a Mike Vrabel culture. That's a running the football culture. That's what Vrabel is. They run the football over there. Number 37, Baltimore Ravens, Tyron Smith, offensive tackle. And the Ravens, that's another team that's built on offense and protecting its quarterback and running the ball. You got to get blindside tackle. It's one of the most important things in the NFL. And if you're building a team, I remember Colin Cowherd on Fox Sports 1 saying, I was talking about it with my brother Jake, where it's like, you need a quarterback, a left tackle, maybe a middle linebacker, or a center. Potentially the three of the most important positions. No, pass rusher, that's the other one. If you're starting a football team. Number 38, Seattle Seahawks, Tre'Davious White, cornerback. And Tre'Davious White is probably the second best corner in the entire league, behind Stephon Gilmore. Number 39, Houston Texans, Stephon Diggs, wide receiver. Breeze and Diggs. That's a very interesting wide receiver connection. That's very interesting. Quarterback receiver connection. Diggs is one of the most underrated wideouts in football. Number 40 to the Minnesota Vikings. They keep their quarterback, Kirk Cousins. Number 41, New Orleans Saints, Jamal Adams, safety. And they get to build this team based off of defense. Number 42, the New England Patriots, Amari Cooper, wide receiver. Belichick would love that. Darnold and Cooper, he would love that offense. And Josh McDaniels, Darnold Cooper would be nice. 43 to the Buffalo Bills. They keep their quarterback, Josh Allen. Number 44 to the Philadelphia Eagles is TJ Watt, outside linebacker. Number 45 to the Los Angeles Rams, Bobby Wagner, inside linebacker. And before I get to my next pick, the Packers fans may want to tune away again, because with the 46th pick, the Chicago Bears select Davante Adams, wide receiver. Rodgers and Adams connection, not in Green Bay Lambeau Field, but take it down to Soldier Field in Chicago. in the Windy City, baby. Number 47 in the Pittsburgh Steelers, Minkah Fitzpatrick, safety. He was a tank. And he was just great for the Steelers all year long. He basically had a bunch of grace and class for the Steelers organization this year. And Steelers fans are happy that they have him. Number 48 to the Dallas Cowboys, Adam Thielen, wide receiver. And you build around core players first, Elliott and Thielen. Number 49, Atlanta Falcons. You get Matt Ryan, a security blanket. Rob Gronkowski, tight end. Number 50, Denver Broncos, Travis Kelce, tight end. Drew Lock, security blanket for Kelce. Number 51, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Alvin Kamara, running back. Number 52, to the Indianapolis Colts, Zach Ertz, tight end. Number 53, to the Las Vegas Raiders, Josh Jacobs, running back. They keep their tailback. Josh Jacobs was basically a rock for them all season long. Number 54, to the New York Jets, Jalen Ramsey, cornerback. Jalen Ramsey, one of the top tier corners in the league. Jets, I know how much they love having good corners because Darrelle Revis was one of the best corners in the NFL for a long time, and he's going to be in the NFL Hall of Fame at some point. It's just a matter of when, and I'm not 100% sure when he's first eligible to be on the ballot. Number 55 to the Cleveland Browns, and I don't understand why I have him this low. Nick Bosa, defensive end. Oh, baby. So the Cleveland Browns, Michael Thomas and Nick Bosa. Those are very interesting duos. Number 56 to the Jacksonville Jaguars, Danielle Hunter, defensive end. He's becoming a stud for the Vikings up front. He's becoming a stud. And he's developed very, very good habits. Number 57, Arizona Cardinals, to go along with Julio Jones, Kyler Murray, quarterback. Number 58, Carolina Panthers, Teddy Bridgewater, quarterback. Number 59, the Los Angeles Chargers, Ronnie Staley, offensive tackle. So the Chargers, are in this theory that I have them building, is they're going to try to build both lines, win the line of scrimmage. And it's as simple as that. Number 60 to the Miami Dolphins, AJ Green, wide receiver. And everyone forgets about AJ Green. AJ Green's one of the best wide receivers in the NFL when healthy. But he was only forgotten about last year because he didn't play a single down for the Cincinnati Bengals. And he's going to play this year. And I was on the phone with my friend the other day. We were talking about this about AJ Green. Because we were starting to talk. He was going through some NFL fantasy mock drafts. I'm like, dude, it's way too early to going through these NFL fantasy mock drafts. I'm like, no. It's never too early to be going through these things. And he's like to me, oh, who's the receiver that the Bengals drafted? T. Higgins. And I said to him, they drafted T. Higgins because he's a potential replacement in the future for A.J. Green, because A.J. Green's on the franchise tag this year. And maybe Cincinnati's bad again, to maybe trade him for a couple first-round picks for a team that's rebuilding. And that's probably why they took T. Higgins. But A.J. Green, this may be it for him in Cincinnati. Man, maybe it's with the Miami Dolphins in the future. Maybe wishful thinking on my part. Who knows? You never know. So I like here what I have with Lamar Jackson and A.J. Green. Number 61 to the New York Giants, Jerry Jeudy, wide receiver. Carson Wentz and a Jeudy combination? Oh, boy. Jerry Jeudy's a great route runner, fast wide receiver. I personally think Jerry Jeudy's the best wide receiver in the 2020. We're talking the 2020 real-life NFL draft class. In the real-life NFL draft class, Jerry Jeudy is the top receiver. He's better than Henry Ruggs. He's better than CeeDee Lamb. And I think T. Higgins of Cincinnati is the second best receiver in that class. Number 62 to Detroit Lions, Derwin James, safety. And Detroit defense, Matt Patricia. You have Aaron Donald, Derwin James. Number 63 to the Washington Redskins, J.J. Watt, defensive end. And I know he's had a history of being injured, but J.J. Watt, sorry, he's basically one of the best to ever do it at his position. Number 64, Cincinnati Bengals, and I don't know how I had him slipping all the way here, Tyreek Hill, wide receiver. That concludes the second round of my fantasy mock draft. So here we go, the beginning of the third round of my fantasy mock draft. With the 65th pick, the Cincinnati Bengals select Marcus Peters, cornerback. So those, you have a foundation of Mahomes, Hill, and Peters with your first three picks for Cincinnati. I like that. Those first three picks happen to be very good, and I happen to like it very much. With the 66th pick, the Washington Redskins select Jarvis Landry, a wide receiver. And Jarvis Landry has always been full of class and grace ever since he's entered the league in the NFL. Jarvis Landry is very calm. All he does is just plays. He just catches passes. Russell Wilson and Landry, that'd be very reliable. And then you have J.J. Watt. That's not a bad it's an older foundation for the Redskins, but it's not a bad foundation either. Number 67, Detroit Lions, Dak Prescott, quarterback. He's okay. He could get the job done for the Detroit Lions. Number 68, New York Giants, Yannick Ngakoue, defensive end. Number 69, to the Miami Dolphins, Trent Williams, offensive tackle. So the Dolphins go offensive heavy here in the first three rounds. You get your quarterback, you get his blind side, and last but not least, the Dolphins also took in the second round a position of need at wide receiver. Number 70, the Los Angeles Chargers, Tua Tagovailoa, quarterback, Los Angeles Chargers. Number 71, Carolina Panthers, Fletcher Cox, defensive tackle. Fletcher Cox is an underrated player in this league. He's so underrated, no one realizes it. He may be the second best defensive tackle in the game, behind Aaron Donald. Maybe Fletcher Cox is a little low here, but because of the way these teams are drafting on the offensive side of the ball, it's not a surprise. Number 72, Arizona Cardinals, Patrick Peterson, cornerback. Number 73, Richard Sherman, cornerback. And Jacksonville, a very interesting foundation. Number 74 to the Cleveland Browns, he did not come off the board yet, Baker Mayfield, quarterback. And I find it interesting that Baker Mayfield is still on the board here. He's taken a different approach this offseason. And I applaud Baker Mayfield of taking this route. Because He said, shut up and play, basically. That's how he is this year. He's taking a different approach. And I'm proud of him. Because he knows, hey, we don't win this year in Cleveland. This is all on me. This is all on me this year. I better get the job done with the roster that our general manager has given us to work with. And Baker Mayfield, it's as simple as he's basically, this time around, he's doing a lot of things with class and grace. That's what it is. Baker Mayfield, I applaud you for doing things differently. Number 75, New York Jets, Bradley Chubb, outside linebacker. Defense. Bradley Chubb and Jalen Ramsey. I like it. I like what I've done here with the New York Jets and how it's been set up. Number 76, Las Vegas Raiders, Henry Ruggs III, wide receiver. Number 77, Indianapolis Colts, Darius Leonard, outside linebacker, inside linebacker. Number 78, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I probably have him too low here too. Chris Jones, defensive tackle, who happens to be a beast in the middle and one of the reasons why the Kansas City Chiefs won the Super Bowl last year. Number 79 for the Denver Broncos, Chris Harris Jr., cornerback. Number 80, the Atlanta Falcons, Cameron Jordan, defensive end. Number 81 to the Dallas Cowboys. And I can't believe I'm actually making the Dallas Cowboys better here with this fantasy draft, but Joe Burrow, quarterback. Joe Burrow, Ezekiel Elliott, and the receiver Adam taking was, let me go back to my list over here for a minute. Dallas Cowboys, Adam Thielen. That would be a very interesting core of Elliott, Thielen, and Burrow. I actually don't think that's that bad. You have a possession slot receiver, Thielen. He's not a game breaker, but he gets the job done. Joe Burrow, hey, he actually may be better than Dak Prescott. And then Ezekiel Elliott is a beast in the backfield. Number 82, Pittsburgh Steelers. They keep their beloved man. And Juju Smith-Schuster, wide receiver. Number 83, the Chicago Bears take Keenan Allen, wide receiver. Number 84, to the Los Angeles Rams, Cooper Kupp, wide receiver. Number 85, Philadelphia Eagles, Lane Johnson, offensive tackle. Number 86, to the Buffalo Bills, Devontae Parker, wide receiver. Allen Parker would be an interesting duo. And then you have Miller on the defensive side of the ball. That's not bad first three picks. Number 87, the New England Patriots, Kareem Hunt, tailback. Oh my gosh, Sam Darnold, Kareem Hunt, Amari Cooper. Oh boy, that's basically setting up the Patriots for another dynasty with those three offensive pieces. Number 88, to the New Orleans Saints, Ryan Ramczyk, offensive tackle. So I just said 85, 86, 87, 88. Number 89 to the Minnesota Vikings, Harrison Smith, safety. Number 90 to the Houston Texans, Aaron Jones, running back. And I know that Bill O'Brien likes to run with the football, and Aaron Jones ran the ball a lot last year with Matt LaFleur and the Green Bay Packers system. Number 91 to the Seattle Seahawks, Derek Carr, quarterback. And he slips all the way to here. And that would be a nice pick for Seattle. Number 92 to the Baltimore Ravens, Mark Ingram, the second running back. Number 93, Tennessee Titans, Justin Herbert, quarterback. Number 94, Green Bay Packers. Darius Slay, cornerback. You basically have a top-tier secondary with Slay and Stephon Gilmore. Number 95 to the San Francisco 49ers. Myles Garrett, defensive end. Number 96 to the Kansas City Chiefs. Jameis Winston, quarterback. Number 97, that concludes the third round. And, okay, I'll just actually stop it here. I'll start with the fourth round on Monday with pick number 97. I will start there on start with 97, 98 on Monday. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am out of time here for the show today. I want to thank you for tuning in to Glenn's Dynamic Sports Corner. I am your host, Glenn Kaplan. I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day and your weekend as well, nonetheless. I will be back on the air at the same time on Monday to go over some more NBA and NHL topics. I'm going to continue with the fourth round of my draft thing. Maybe I'll have another round or two for you guys. And then maybe something about the 2020 NFL draft and schedule. More NFL topics related to 2020 NFL regular season. And I will also go over on Monday. Maybe we'll have a decision on MLB opening day 2020 and the MLB draft as well. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the rest of your day and your weekend. I love you all. Be safe and be well. Thanks very much. Take care. Enjoy your weekend, everybody.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Thursday, June 11th episode of Pete's Power Play, hosted by the one, the only King of the Ice himself, Philly Pete, and we are live on 12 Ounce Sports and Zingo TV. Yes, unfortunately, it is the last show of the week, but don't be alarmed, ladies and gentlemen. I will be back on Tuesday, like always, to continue my show, as always. Once again, the show is sponsored by MyBookie. Please go to mybookie.ag today. Use that promo code 12Ounce Sports. That is 12OZ Sports, all one word, when making your first deposit today. And by all means, they will match that up to $1,000. I highly recommend it. Best book on the planet right now. I highly recommend going on there. Again, no one has a better deal for you guys out there than MyBookie. Once again, mybookie.ag. When sign up for an account, use the promo code 12Ounce Sports, 12OZ Sports, all one word today, and they will deposit and match you up to $1,000. So once again, mybookie.ag, promo code 12Ounce Sports, all one word, they will match you up to $1,000. Also, when we have fans coming back into stadiums at some point, please, 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 for the best seat in the house, make sure you check out Seat Giant. Also, Zingo TV. What else can I say? Zingo TV. When sign up for an account with Zingo TV, make sure you use the promo code 12Ounce. That's 12OZ. Again, all one word when sign up for an account. And each and every one of you out there can be streaming all these phenomenal and amazing shows that we can provide to you on the 12Ounce Sports Network, including yours truly, Pete's Power Plays. So we give the best entertainment out there. So please, 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 I highly recommend each and every one of you out there, family, friends, grandmothers, grandfathers, girlfriends, ex-girlfriends, whatever you want to call it, make sure they get a Zingo TV account. Use the promo code 12Ounce when signing up, and you could be streaming all these amazing shows that we can provide to you during these crazy times. Also, we have if you want to freshen up your look for the summertime, check out 12Ounce Sports' new line of clothing. We got everything from shirts, sweaters, to beach towels and phone cases. Find the store online today at 12OZSportsRadio.com under the Our Store tab. There, you'll find a wide variety of clothing items, colors, and sizes that will suit your style. Once again, that is 12ozsportsradio.com under the Our Store tab. Now listen, we have a mini shirt catalog coming out as well. And please, by all means, please check that out. We have 4 shirts. We have 1 golf shirt and 3 t-shirts. 2 white, 2 blue. 1 white and 1 blue have the large 12-ounce sports logo on the chest. So friends and family cannot miss that when you are representing the 12-ounce sports. Also, the golf shirt has a white golf shirt. It's a small 12-ounce sports logo on the left side of the shirt. And a blue t-shirt that has the small 12-ounce sports logo as well on the left side of the shirt. So these are going to be hot commodities. I recommend each and every one of you out there to check out the mini catalog today. I already made my order, and like I said, my wife, my family, and friends are going to represent the 12-ounce sports crew as well. And by all means, when you want to go out to a golf outing, if you want to go out to a picnic, any sort of family outing, or just for the hell of it, you want to go out and represent the 12-ounce sports crew, by doing so today, make sure you check out that mini catalog and get your shirt today. Ladies and gentlemen, I have an action-packed show today. What way to end out the rest of the week with a bang on Pete's Power Plays. You know what? Let's get into it right now. I know I was going to talk about it on Tuesday. However, there's a lot to talk about when it comes to Pete's Power Plays. So today, I want to give you guys Philly Pete's 2.0 Fantasy Football Mock Draft. I know everyone has been anticipating this. I've been getting so many DMs in regards about this. And let's kick it off right now. Why not? So, first overall pick in fan. I'm going to do 2 rounds. I'm going to do 20, 25 players. So I'm going to act as if it is a 12-team fantasy football league. The first 2 rounds. This is also going by half-point PPR. All my leagues are half-point. So I'm also in 1 standard league and 1 full-point PPR. But the other 5 that I am in, yes, I'm in 7 fantasy football leagues. Don't get me wrong. It's crazy. But dating back to about the last 10 years, I've won at least 4 to 5 championships in those 7 leagues. So the success rate that I've had with fantasy football speaks for itself, basically. So again, you're getting the best when it comes to daily fantasy. That's why I highly expect all those tuning in or those that are interested in becoming a client of mine, reach out to me at the Real Pete Tooch is my Twitter handle. Search up PT. I'm one of the first guys there. And I will answer all your package questions that you want answered. Daily Fantasy was a huge success last year for all my clients. They hit big, massive numbers in the green. And the year before that, when I first started doing this, another insane amount of green as well, putting some nice dinero and money in my clients' pockets for the season. So let's kick it off here. Number 1 overall. Again, this is a 12-man team. Draft, half-point PPR, number 1, the one, the only, CMC himself, Run CMC, Christian McCaffrey of the Carolina Panthers. My overall number 1 selection here, that has not changed. Number 2, Mr. Saquon Barkley, yes, from my alma mater, Penn State University, represent. The New York Giant running back goes off the board at number 2. Now, you can argue between the 2. I get it. You could go either way here. Once again, I do favor those running backs, let alone position players in general, in regards to being in the dome or playing in domes. So you got to look at the schedule here. You have to go by, strength of schedule too. It's always nice to see what running backs have the easiest schedule in terms of, their schedule for running backs. I always go by that when I draft running backs. You always got to go by strength of schedule and go by the easiest. But when you look at Christian McCaffrey here, he's going to be playing a game in New Orleans that has a dome, and Atlanta, which is also another dome. So that's two games right off the bat that CMC will be playing indoors. So that's always a big help as well. Warm weather as well down in Tampa. So you could already kick the foot on the pedal there and take CMC number 1. I think he's the overall consensus number 1. But number 2 belongs to Saquon Barkley. Number 3, I'm moving up this guy big time because I see more of him having a bounce back year than anybody else, and that's Mr. Alvin Kamara out of New Orleans. Yes, I told you all on my show a couple days ago or even a week ago that I would have some massive changes in my 2.0. So you will have Mr. Alvin Kamara at number 3 overall going off the boards. I like him in a bounce back situation here for the Saints, especially because he had a down year. He was hurt a little bit. Everyone was highly considering him overall number 1 last year, but now you have you're back to reality. It's time to let loose now. Everything going on with Drew Brees and Michael Thomas and the whole locker room. We don't know how it's going to be, but teammates will always back up each other no matter what. And I know it was a really rough subject for Drew Brees and for all of us, really. It was tough to digest what he said. But at the end of the day here, these are all teammates. They're fighting for a Super Bowl. And you know what? I think this team will bounce back. And apologies will be accepted. I know this. But to me, Kamara is my overall number 3 in fantasy football. Number 4 is Zeke Elliott of the Dallas Cowboys. You can't go wrong here. If you have a top 4 pick in fantasy this year, you're guaranteed one of those 4 studs. Now listen, half-point PPR, by all means. Michael Thomas you could throw up there, but it varies now. If you have a full-point PPR league, I would probably take Thomas at the 4 spot rather than Zeke, just because you're getting a full point. You're getting a full point, obviously per reception. But to me, Zeke Elliott's number 4 on my board. Number 5 is Mr. Michael Thomas himself. He dropped a couple spots. He was my number 3 a couple weeks ago when I talked about my 1.0. However, Michael Thomas to me is my number 5 overall player. So you have CMC, you have Saquon Barkley, you have Alvin Kamara, Zeke Elliott, and Michael Thomas at number 5. Number 6 here, I have Derrick Henry. He's a guy that I think will have he might have a little bit of a down year this year compared to last year. He went off, but I just think that he is that core of the Tennessee Titans offense 100%. We saw what he did last year in the playoffs, and once again, they didn't really lose that much in the offseason. But to me, I think this is really, really fond of Derrick Henry here to be at the 6th spot for me. He's a bull. We know he's a bull. If you want to look at auctions, he's been going in the mid-50s. I did a mock draft yesterday where he went $62, which is a little bit too much for my liking for a running back, especially Derrick Henry. I'd rather spend that much or even more on McCaffrey or Barkley, even Kamara, but to me, and even Zeke. But to me, Derrick Henry drops a little bit to the number 6 spot overall. Number 7 here, I have Joe Mixon here at number 7. I love what I see in this guy this season. I really, truly think that with Joe Burrow, and then you have A.J. Green coming back, you have Tyler Boyd, and you also have T. Higgins, the rookie out of Clemson. I really do think that this offense is going to be a little bit, obviously, more superior than they were last year. You have a healthy A.J. Green. They loaded up big time on defense as well, which could definitely help out the offense in some situations here. But to me, I think Joe Mixon is due for a huge, huge breakout year, one that we've been wanting to have. Last year he pretty much turned it up during the last half of the season, so that's pretty good to me. But overall, Mixon number 7 here. I have Dalvin Cook dropping a couple spots in number 8. I really don't know. He could be even further down the draft board for me at this point. You're really not sure what's going to happen when it comes to Dalvin Cook this season. He gladly would accept a deal worth $13 million annually, so we will see. But for now, Dalvin drops a couple spots in number 8. Number 9, I have Devontae Adams. Number 10, I have Tyreek Hill. Number 11, I have Mr. Nick Chubb at number 11 here. I moved him up a couple spots. I love what I see in him. Even Kareem Hunt can definitely take over a little bit, but to me, I just truly think that Nick Chubb, he just has so much success on the ground with that Browns offense, which should be elusive this season. So I have Chubb at number 11. Number 12 and 13, you can round out the board with the last picks here. We're going receiver. Julio and Hopkins, 12, 13. I like that as the way to go here. Now, on the way back, I love Travis Kelce at 14. I like him as a very late first rounder, early second rounder. Don't know where he should be. He should honestly be a considerable first round selection at the end of the first round, but no more than early second. Like, he's the way to go when it comes to the second round early. So to me, number 14, I have Kelce. Number 15, I have Kenyon Drake. I like what I see in him this season for Arizona. Hopefully, he continues the success there as well. Of course, with the addition of D-Hop, this offense could be a little bit more elusive with Kyler behind center too. So I do really like Kenyon Drake there at number 15. 16, I have Aaron Jones. I have Aaron Jones moving up a little bit. Again, don't be alarmed because they drafted the kid out of Boston College. Don't be alarmed. This Aaron Jones kid wants to be a full-time Packer forever. So once again, I have Aaron Jones up there at 16. 17, I have Josh Jacobs out of the Vegas Raiders. I like, again, another stud that had a great rookie season. Let's see what happens in his second year. Right under him, I have Miles Sanders moving up big time to number 18. I love what I see in Miles Sanders this season for Philly. Obviously, a little bit biased here. I would have him up to number 15, but, can't be biased all the time, So, but Mr. Miles Sanders to me, number 18 overall on my big board. Number 19, I know he's dropped a little bit, but Chris Godwin, I'm really not sure about Tom Brady this year. Godwin with Winston obviously put up big numbers. So it just kind of scares me that I think Godwin and Evans will have a little bit of a declining season. I know I've been talking about that before. But Godwin, he moves a couple spots down for me at number 19. At number 20, I have Mr. Kenny Golladay at number 20 here from the Detroit Lions. Again, another great asset to the Lions here. He will put up points galore for you. George Kittle, number 21, the second tight end that should be off the boards in fantasy football this year. I really like him. Now, 22 and 23 really depends how you feel about quarterbacks. All my quarterback leagues are 6 points per touchdown pass as well, and then for an interception, it's a point off, 1 point. So I know some leagues are 4 points per touchdown and 2 points off for interception. But again, I'm going by default in the way I have all my leagues set up to play. 6 points per touchdown pass, -1 for an interception. You also get bonus points after 25 yards. You get a point for 25 yards. You also get a couple points for over 300 yards passing. So to me, Lamar and Pat Mahomes, actually, I like Pat Mahomes is my number 1 quarterback, so I have Pat Mahomes over Lamar Jackson. However, Patty Cakes and Lamar, bang them out at 22 and 23 overall. I just like, again, if you have a high standard quarterback league, 22 and 23, towards the late half of the second round, that's where your quarterback should be going, especially, like I said, if you have a quarterback heavy league in terms of points. And then 24 and 25, I like Austin Eckler. He's going to be the whole core of the Chargers offense this year. He will stack up the points. He can catch, he can run. We know that. And I do truly think that he's still going to be very, very successful. And then at number 25, I got to go with Mike Evans. You got to have Evans and Godwin in the top 25 this season regardless. But you know what? I know a lot of mocks have him going around 20, 21, but he's going to drop to number 25 for me. And that basically is my top 25 and updated first 2 rounds of Philly Pete's Mock Draft 2.0. Next month, I think in early July, maybe July 4th weekend, I will bring out my version 3.0. So we'll see what kind of updates I have there. So that basically concludes that session with that aspect of the show. Real quick, I want to talk about WWE Backlash 2020, which is on this Sunday on pay-per-view, WWE Network, $9.99 a month for all this. It should be a decent card. But once again, this is the Thursday, June 11th episode of Pete's Power Plays, hosted by the one, the only King of the Ice himself, Philly Pete. And once again, we are live on 12 Ounce Sports and Zingo TV. This show, as always, is sponsored by MyBookie. Please, ladies and gentlemen out there that are ready to get back into the action with sports, yes, soccer is finally back. We have the Italian League starting up soon. We also have Spain starting today. Sevilla is in action today. So if you want to bet some soccer, please, by all means, hit up mybookie.ag. Put in the promo code 12OunceSports. That's 120Z Sports, all one word. When making your first deposit, they will match you up to $1,000. So again, all those soccer fans out there that want to start betting, gambling, and again, we also have a casino on MyBookie that could scratch any itch for now until NHL and basketball are back in action late next month. But for now, soccer bets are all eyes and ears right now. The casino is also red hot too. It's very, very fun. So once again, mybookie.ag, promo code 12ounce sports, 12OZ sports, and make your first deposit. They will match you up to $1,000. Also, Seat Giant as well. Best place in the house. Get your tickets from Seat Giant. Also, Zingo TV as well. When making an account for Zingo TV, make sure you use the promo code 12ounce, 12OZ, and you all could be streaming all these phenomenal shows, including yours truly, Pete's Power Plays. Anything that we can give to you during these times. You're streaming with the best group of sports casters in the world today, and that is none other than 12ounce Sports Crew. So again, Zingo TV, 12 ounce as your promo code, and stream live all these amazing shows that we can provide to you. Also, make sure you check out the hot commodities this season in the 12-ounce store. We have the mini catalog with the 4 shirts, a goth shirt, and 3 other t-shirts, white and blue. Pick your choice. I'm telling you, these are going to be hot commodities, comfortable shirts. I guarantee you, you won't be disappointed when you get this. Get one today. That's all I can say. These are going to be going off the shelves this summer, and just stay tuned for them. They're going to be very, very good. And again, very comfy shirts. Highly recommend to everybody out there. So WWE Backlash 2020, here we are real quick. You have the greatest wrestling match ever, which I thought it was on WrestleMania, when we had a 45-minute Randy Orton versus Edge match that I was basically falling asleep to because it was so damn long. But rest be assured, here we go. Greatest wrestling match ever. I hope this is it. Orton versus Edge, which could be anticipated to be, obviously, maybe the pay-per-view. I mean, the main event. We'll see what happens. But they're hyping the crap out of this match so much. And they even had Christian coming back on Monday Night Raw this past Monday to bring back the Peep Show just to bust some viewers and, you know, basically have a little bit of a four-lean punch to get this match over. We don't need this match over. You know, we know what's going to happen in this match. You know, the outcome to me could go either way. It could be, you know, if it's going to be a 45-minute match again, you could see a draw. But for me, I just think that Orton is giving the over to Edge big time to me. We know Orton is going to be in wrestling for a while. Edge, to me, again, he only signed a mini deal with WWE to be here. So I think Edge wins this in a very, very emotional match. But again, like the 10th time that we've seen this throughout the last 20 years of wrestling. So, but this rivalry will go on and on forever. So give me Edge in this matchup. Handicap match for the Universal Championship. Braun Strowman versus The Miz and John Morrison. This is a joke of a match, to be honest with you. Just a typical Vince filler for a match for a pay-per-view. Give me Braun Strowman all day. I don't even have to talk about this one. It's just The Miz and Morrison are more of a tag team championship caliber team than compared to sharing a Universal Championship, which makes no sense whatsoever. Give me Braun all day. WWE Championship match. Drew McIntyre versus Bobby Lashley. Yes, I'm talking about this now because I feel like this could be a potential upset. The whole hype of Drew McIntyre before Rumble, winning Rumble, and after Rumble, even at Mania, it was so hyped. It was perfect. It's the way that we wanted it to go for wrestling. Finally, Vince got something right for once. But you never know. Now we could see a possibility that Bobby Lashley could win the belt. Especially because of what's going on. I'm reading some stuff about the whole, you know, when Black Lives Matter, of course it does, obviously. And they're saying that to make life fair for everybody, they might drop the title for Drew and give it on Bobby Lashley's waist, which makes sense. It makes sense to me. Bobby Lashley has fought his way back to the championship caliber title, and there you have it. It would not surprise me if Bobby Lashley wins this. And, of course, with everything going on, I just think it really makes sense in this situation. And but you know, I think that's my upset of the night. You know, if Drew wins, again, it's just if Drew wins, and then he moves on. It's just tough for him to build as a character with no fans right now. He has such more of a pop when there are fans in the arena. So for now, drop the title. I hate to say it, but drop the title, give it to Bobby Lashley, and let him have a reign as a top heel in WWE. So for me, this is my upset of the night for the card. Bobby Lashley wins the WWE Championship. Women's Tag Team Championship match. Bayley and Sasha Banks versus Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross versus the Iconics. What can I say? Billie Kay and Peyton Royce the two lovely Iconics. You know what? I just think the way they came back was great. I felt like when they had the belts and then lost them, people forgot about them. Again, to me, I think this could be another potential upset. This could be a upset card of some sort. We know Bayley and Sasha are supposed to have a feud at some point down the line. I heard at SummerSlam they're supposed to have a little outing. To me, I feel like they can retain, but if you want to give me an upset right now, I think the Iconics win this match and win the belts. But again, you can't switch the tag team belts like every week. Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss lost the belts 2 weeks ago or last week on SmackDown, and then 2 weeks later at a pay-per-view, you're going to have them lose again to the Iconics. I hate how belts move within a short amount of time. It's mind-boggling. So for me, I think Bayley and Sasha retain, but don't be surprised again if I had to take a dark horse. The Iconics somehow win this match and are the new women's tag team champions. Raw Women's Championship match: Asuka versus Nia Jax. Give me Asuka, no brainer. Nia Jax right now is on the fence with WWE because of her antics in the ring. She is injuring female wrestlers left and right. And the most recent victim was none other than Kairi Sane. They had a fight a couple weeks ago on Raw, and I think on one of the Samoan drops, Nia Jax, I guess, kind of went down on Kairi Sane pretty hard. I think on a rib, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but I know that there's been a lot of speculation about having Nia Jax termed in the WWE because of her bad antics in the ring and hurting people. So this could be a possibility here that Nia Jax just gets. This could be her last outing in wrestling. But again, give me Asuka all day. I will take her, and I will even bet the house on it too. So give me Asuka to retain as champion. Apollo Crews versus Andrade. Give me Apollo Crews as well. You can't give this guy the belt a week or two ago and have him lose, 2 weeks later. You can't have this guy. Apollo Crews has been working his butt off this entire company, even during this pandemic, even before the pandemic. He deserves his championship match here. He deserves to keep the United States Championship belt as well. So give me Apollo Crews to retain, which should be a very entertaining match. And don't forget, as always, to look out for the lovely Zelina Vega, who will probably interfere somehow. But give me Apollo Crews. I really love to see Apollo versus Kevin Owens in the future. I think this will be a great United States Championship match between the two. But Andrade, unfortunately, will not get it done here tonight. Give me Apollo Crews in this match. And then last but not least, Jeff Hardy versus Sheamus. We know Sheamus was the one that basically did the whole scene on SmackDown about 2 weeks ago. The whole WWF Attitude start of his show, which was pretty cool. You had a car crashing. You had the ambulance there. You had what could have been basically a setup to a drunk Jeff Hardy, the way that Jeff has been in his past with DUIs. That's what WWE wanted us to think, which is crazy. It brings back Attitude Era days, which was probably the best SmackDown that I've seen in a very long time because of that segment in the beginning of the show. So to me, give me Jeff Hardy in this. I think Jeff Hardy is going to be again, another emotional match. I think Jeff Hardy is going to come out away as the victor here just because we know Sheamus set that up, and he set it up pretty darn well. I love Sheamus's character. He's a great heel. I've always liked Sheamus. But to me, I think this match belongs to Jeff Hardy. And that basically concludes the card and my predictions of this weekend's WWE Backlash pay-per-view, only on the WWE Network, and pay-per-view. 7 o'clock pre-show, I believe. 8 o'clock starts a normal show. Stay tuned. It will be a great, great show. So here we are. The last 5-6 minutes of the show here, I want to talk about, of course, none other than Philly Pete's. Basically, NHL series dog value plays. I love a bunch of these. I know I've been saying this a lot on my shows, but I also have a couple bold predictions to me that I like here. I do like a couple bold predictions. One being that we know that the Toronto Leafs and Austin Matthews himself, they're going to win their first playoff series since 2004. And honestly, I think Austin Matthews, to me, will score more goals in the first round than games played. I think this is going to be a high-powered Toronto team. I've been saying it for a while now. Defense will come alive, and I do think that Toronto can make a good step here. Another take for me, another bold prediction. Again, I know I have the Hurricanes here in a future with my clients, but I also like the Rangers here. You have to hedge your bets. But again, this is all just random bold predictions that I truly like. We know what the Hurricanes did last year. They went to the Eastern Conference Final to get swept by the Bruins. We know that. But to me, Sebastian Aho and the Canes, they might go back to the Eastern Conference Final. It's just a bold prediction for me. They did it last year. Why not do it again with the same team? So I know I did take the Rangers here in a dog value upset, but don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if the Hurricanes advance once again and get back to the ECF. It would not surprise me. So those are just two little takes that I liked, just to throw down for you guys. I have a little bit of fun. But here we go. Penguins, once again, nothing has changed since 2 days ago, obviously. Pens are still minus 200. Montreal still plus 175. You know what? Again, these two games, and I'm talking about over-unders as well. Over-unders will likely be set at 6 for this match. Head-to-head matchups. Real quick, Pens and Canadians. This could be a good under situation here. The last 3 games, now I know that, of course they haven't played in 3 months, 4 months, but stating back stats, the last 3 times they played this season, all under 6 or 6.5 respectively. So, and in those matchups, Pittsburgh won 4-1, Pittsburgh won 3-2 in overtime, and then Montreal won 4-1, and they all went under 6. So I do like the value there with the under. I also truly think that this could be a series that can go 5. I really do think this could be a 5-game series, especially at plus 160. I do think that it could possibly happen. You're going to get some good value here when the series is tied at 2-2, going back to Pittsburgh. And hey, why not put a little bit of crumble a little bit of a sprinkle or Jimmy on the Canadians plus 175 too, because that is some good value there. I'm all going to be on most of the dogs here in the situation here. I know I have a few locks for you guys as well that I discussed. But real quick, Hurricanes, Rangers. Again, this is a series that we're all talking about, the 6-11 matchup. I know I did talk about the Rangers and a long shot. We also have the clients had the Hurricanes at a 33-1 ticket to win the Cup as a dark horse. Now, 2-2 over under. 2 games went over, 2 games went under. Rangers won 5-2, the latest match. Rangers won 5-3, Rangers won 3-2, and the Rangers won 4-2. Rangers has swept the season series against the Hurricanes. Again, this is why Philly Pete always takes Rangers as a dog at plus value, because they're the way to go here. But again, you have to hedge these bets. You really, really do. And that's why I'm not going to play around with the Hurricanes, because we have a future already. So, you know what? Again, another series that can easily go 5 games. I mean, if you want to talk about a sweep, that's plus 260. Another series that can go 5 games easily at plus 150. That's a very, very good situation there. Again, another series that I could think could definitely go 5 games. But just remember, New York has swept the Hurricanes 4-0 in this entire head-to-head matchup this season. 2-2, 2 went over, 2 went under, and I'll leave it at that. Islanders and Panthers, real quick. Islanders have swept the Panthers this season, and all the games have gone under. I'm all over the under in this as well. Maybe a game or 2 with the over, but for now, I think if you want to talk about the whole series, I think we'll go under. But once again, these teams haven't played in 3 to 4 months, and it's tough to see where we're going in terms of situations. That's why I can't wait to watch the first game and see where we're going from there. But under galore, and New York has swept. So, again, this is something that we could see. We could figure something out here. Again, I do like the Panthers in this situation, though. Leafs minus 165 against the Jackets at plus 135. Give me the Leafs all day. Over and under, split 1-1. Toronto won once, 4-1, and then Columbus beat Toronto the other time, 4-3 in overtime. Again, give me that. Give me the Leafs. Also, throw in the Leafs to basically maybe a correct series result at 3-0. I think the Leafs here could sweep the Blue Jackets. 3-game series at plus 250. Toronto to correct series result prop. I like Toronto to win the series 3-0 is a plus 430. Plus 430. I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm going to put a little bit of a ticket on that. It could even go up. But at plus 430 for Toronto to sweep the series at 3-0, that's a nice little prop bet for me on the side that I'm going to take. Oilers, Blackhawks. I think this is Oilers series. I think this is honestly Oilers couple series. Couple rounds for them to lose. To lose. They deserve this more than anything. They're a hot team. Again, Edmonton to win the series and the sweep is plus 440. I think Chicago gets at least one game here. The correct series result, Edmonton at 3-1 is plus 300. So at 3-1, that's not too bad. But I do think this game will probably go 4 games at plus 150. Give me that all day. Real quick, Arizona Coyotes, they're my dog play as well in the series at plus 115. Give me them as well. Over-under split at 1-1. Arizona beat Nashville, and then Nashville beat Arizona, so they split the season series as well. But I love the Coyotes in that series as well. My 2 locks coming up, Canucks minus 135 against the Wild. Again, with a possibility of another sweep. Vancouver, correct series result at 3-0 is plus 500. Again, another possible prop bet that I like. But to me, Canucks are a lock for me to win that series, and as well as the Flames that are minus 115 against the Jets minus 105. They only played once. Winnipeg won 2-1 and went under 6, so the under could be a big casher as well. Calgary, or this game to go 5 games, could go plus 150. Again, I feel like this is another game that will go 4 games at plus 150. Calgary to win the series at 3-1 is a plus 370 value, which is nice. So, like I said, this is not bad. Not bad whatsoever. So that basically concludes the segment of my value plays here. I will definitely talk tomorrow, or I'm sorry, I will definitely talk next week more about these trends. I will update everyone as we go here in regards. So, but unfortunately, I'm out of time. I know I went a little bit over, but I know you all highly appreciate that as well. And I know 12 Ounce does as well, and those tuning in on Zingo TV. Once again, real quick, make sure you guys go to mybookie.ag. Sign up for an account. Use the promo code 12 Ounce Sports. That's 12OZ Sports. They will match your first deposit up to $1,000. Zingo TV. Make an account for Zingo TV. Use 12 Ounce 12OZ when making an account for Zingo TV. Stream all these amazing shows that we can provide to you live. Hit up that mini catalog store right now for great options on the shirts that we have from the 12 Ounce Sports crew. Highly recommend it. Represent us today. They're going to be hot commodities this season. And last but not least, those that want to sign up to be a client, again, I have 3 packages out. One for the daily fantasy football, as well for DraftKings and FanDuel, as well as the NHL playoffs package. That's a combination of both. And I also have them separately. If you want a separate daily fantasy football package, and I also have a separate NHL playoffs package as well. You can find me at the Twitter at @TheRealPTooch. Look up PT. I'm one of the first guys there. Follow me. I will follow you back. No problem. Any questions or answers in regards to fantasy football, hockey, anything in general, anything in the South Jersey, Philly area, or anything in general when it comes to fantasy life and hockey, I will be the first one to answer you. One of the best in the business. We know that. Clients have never been ashamed for the last 2 years that I've been capping hockey. And the numbers never lie that I have. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the day and the week of this June 11th day for Pete's Power Plays, hosted by the one, the only Philly Pete. I hope you all have an amazing weekend, and I will be back to you guys next week on Tuesday, which should be another action-packed week. Stay tuned, stay safe, stay sane, enjoy a couple drinks, and I'll talk to you guys on Tuesday. Take care, guys. Later.